These are 8 gladiators you see up there. Some are from my generation. The greatest compliment I ever got was, hey, you're so old school, but you're not afraid of new school. And as an old school coach, that was a great compliment to me. I'm not afraid of new school. I'll listen to it. If I like it, I'll pick and choose. Okay? A couple methods, whatever. But these are 8 gladiators. A couple of these guys are my heroes. Johnny Bench up there, you see it. I see Joe Mauer top right. We were so smart at USA when he was 18, we played him at first base. You see Thurman there, you see Gary Carter, but the one that's going to stand out to you is bottom middle. Okay? That's Martin Maldonado, and I've talked to Martin Maldonado, and he's a good catcher, but he's not a great catcher. He's a terrible hitter. Okay? This past year he hit 119. Okay? And on Monday, he just signed with the Padres because they appreciate the value he brings to their pitchers. Every team he's on, pitchers will go, yeah, he's not the greatest catcher and he can't hit, but man, he makes you feel good throwing to him. And Verlander said, that's the only guy I want catching when he was with the Astros. Okay, if you look at that, 3,500 at bats, a third batting average of 203. Guy makes $4 million a year. $4 million a year to make pitchers feel good. That's the forgotten piece in catching. We are so driven by X, formerly known as Twitter, which I love. We're so driven by social media, watching other guys do drills that are non-functional to what we're trying. One of them is like, you ever seen catchers like drag them? And you've done this, I'm about to blow you up here. They drag the glove from the ground to work under the ball. That's a drill. It's not an in-game thing. Because just like hitting, you got to be on time to catch the ball. And if you're doing this, it's really hard to get on time. Okay, and we'll talk about that in a second. Maldonado, 13 years. This will be his 14th year. This will be his 8th different team. He's a multi-millionaire. And look at that. And we have our guys spend all their time in the cage. Let that sink in. This is what I know. Championship teams have elite catchers. Do any of you have a good catcher? Awesome. That's awesome. You better have 2. You better have a good elite one, and then you better have a guy that can go behind the plate and pull it off. If you're sitting there and you're worried about catching, you need to be worried about catching next year. You're always developing catchers. If you cut catchers, I don't have a lot of respect for you. If a kid walks up and knows which leg to put the shin guards on, you probably want to keep that kid. And then go, you know what, you're going to have to catch a lot before we can get you in the game, if ever. But don't cut catchers. It's an elite skill, okay? All right, you better have a good backup catcher. This is the best catcher you never heard of. This is Latson Montgomery. He was on 12U national team, he was on 15U national team, he was on 18U national team. He signed with Alabama, he went to Florida State, ended up in junior college. And I really believe this guy never made it to the big leagues because nobody appreciated what they did, what he did, okay? He taught me so much when he was 15 years old. Latson went above and beyond as a catcher. You see all the drills, and they're not moving, they're just catching balls. Latson did really cool things. This is something he taught me. It's really hard to take your eye off the ball. Like when you watch a game, the ball's hit, you'll follow a flight of ball, watch the outfielder pick it up and throw it back in. Latson didn't do that as the catcher. There'd be a runner on first, ball's hit the gap, he'd stand up and you'd see him, and he'd be watching the runner and then he'd look at the third base coach. And if the third base coach put his hands up too early, Latson would go, 2-2-2. They throw it into 2, get the guy. I saw him do it. There was one out runner on first, ball hit the gap. He looked at the third base coach. The action's over there. He's looking at the third base coach. The third base coach puts his hand up to stop the guy going to third, and he starts going 2-2-2. They throw it in, tag the guy out at second base, 2 outs, runner on third. Next guy hits the ground ball to second base when they're out of the inning. If he had not been watching the third base coach, they would have scored a run. He did things like that. It was psycho how good at all the stuff that doesn't require any talent he was. Somebody's got a kid here that could win an Academy Award as a player if you teach them all that little stuff. Best catching drill ever. Ready? Got your phones ready? Catching bullpens, that's the greatest drill of all time. Good night. That's catching bullpens for a catcher is fungo to a shortstop. Shortstops love taking ground balls. Catchers love catching. Don't catch. If you got a guy go, I'll catch that pitch. That guy, his value goes up. Catchers love to catch. Catching bullpens or catchers what fungo is to an infielder. Rotate your catchers around. Don't let Jimmy catch his best friend Bobby all the time. Rotate them, you know that. It is an athletic check, okay? And by athletic check, if you want to find out what it takes to be a catcher, take your all-state shortstop, put the gear on him, and let him try to catch and watch how unathletic he becomes. It's amazing how unnatural it is for some kids to play that low to the ground. Okay? And if you got a fat kid, that fat, unathletic kid, but he gets behind the plate and just owns it, that kid's probably more athletic than you think he is. Okay? My second baseman, my shortstop a few years ago, he's Vanderbilt's second baseman, led the team in hitting. He was hitting .316. Guy never bunted. He never bunted. He was my best hitter, so he never bunted. He gets to Vanderbilt, sitting in the 5-hole pretty much all year. They're playing Mississippi State. Corbs calls for a bunt because he's desperate. And I'm like, what were you thinking? He's like, Corbs goes, I have 9 laps. I don't know. Okay? So he squares around the bunt, and it's 95 off the bat into his left eye. 5 plates in his eye. He comes back 3 weeks later. They give him and at bat, the SEC tournament, he's got the shield on and the face mask. He gets up there, it's right after he had surgery and had 5 plates put in his face. He's got a broken face. He gets up there, the first pitch they throw him, it's up, and he does not move. He steps out. They ended up walking him on 4 pitches. And after the game, I was like, Jay, man, you got more courage. He goes, Coach, what are you talking about? I said, that first pitch almost hit you in the face again. He was like, I didn't see it. I had that shield on. I couldn't see it. Okay? Well, this week, he starts for them at second base. This week on Monday, they go, have you ever caught? And he was like, yeah, when I was in 7th grade. They put him behind the plate at Vanderbilt. He's catching bullpens and pulling it off. He sent me film of it. Throws a 1-9 to second base. I told him when he was in 9th grade, your pro position is catcher. You have somebody on your team that can catch that they don't even know they can catch. So I go, Jaden, how's it going? He goes, it's awesome. I'm probably never going to play there, but they ordered me a glove, so I got another glove. Like he collects gloves, so now he's got a catcher. Okay? You got to be athletic. Okay? Here's the forgotten item, the whole catching piece. Catchers are there for the pitcher. So if your pitcher goes, hey, I don't like it when you go on one knee, get off your knees. Learn how to catch traditional style. You're there for the pitcher. And when you see all that, who pitched? Your worst nightmare is while you were throwing, the catcher's moving around and doing stuff back. You're like, stay still, please. Okay? So the forgotten piece is you're here for the pitcher. All right, a few things. Good catchers love to catch. You got to command the game. That's Ben Shelton. Ben Shelton caught for me 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017. When he tried out as a freshman, it was 2 hops to second base. And I was like, oh God. He couldn't run. He's a little fat freshman. You know how they still have the baby fat on it. And I was like, oh God. And one of my assistant coaches goes, Coach, we got to cut him. We can't cut him. I went to high school with his dad, played with his dad. We can't cut him. We got to find him. So I put him behind the plate. All right, catchers was blocked. And he blocked perfect. It was perfect. I was like, that's why we're keeping him, because he can block. And they're like, you've lost your mind. Fast forward senior year, we go to state tournament. We do some damage in the state tournament. He allowed 7 stolen bases in 37 games. The first scrimmage, 2 other catchers got hurt. He caught every inning of his senior year. But here's the thing. I taught him how to be very vocal. He'd come out in front of the plate and he'd go, 2 down, throw it across. Let's go. Come on, come on. All the other coaches thought he could catch. All the other coaches on the other teams thought he could catch because he was vocal. So because they thought he could catch, he only gave up 7. Nobody ran on us, and we'd stand over there and I'd go, oh my God, why aren't they running? Because Ed Ben would pop out and go, hey, 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 Point it out, point it out. Let's go, let's go. Come on, in you. He was Cal Stark from Tennessee before Cal Stark knew he was Cal Stark. Okay? He goes to the University of Tennessee as a bullpen catcher. His sophomore, junior, senior year, he's voted captain of the team and he's the bullpen catcher. Leadership qualities. I believe this in the yellow there. It says 2-1 ratio for catch block. For every pitch, this is kind of radical, but if you start doing this, your catcher will get better. For every pitch he catches in the bullpen, okay, 2-to-1 ratio. For every 2 pitches he catches in the bullpen, he needs to block 1 at the end of practice. So it just becomes routine. So if he's catching 100 pitches, he needs 50 blocks. It could be tennis balls, it could be marbles, it could be off the machine, it could be short, it could be dry, but they need to block all the time. Blocking is like tackling. If we lined up and tackled, some of you'd be really good at it, and some of you just kind of collapse in front of me. The more you tackle, the more you like to tackle, the better you get at tackling. Does that make sense? Okay? In my opinion, you need to be able to catch, block, exchange, throw, and all the other stuff. Okay? Here are the most common faults I see. With USA, and you can ask Rufy right there. Rufy sat with me, and he's been with me in Arizona and all that stuff. I'll see 3,500 16 and 17-year-olds every year. So you can do the math. It's about, I'll see about 500 travel teams. So you can imagine how many catchers we see. Okay? And this is what I've seen that they do wrong. They whiff on catchable pitches. They're so into like catching it and dragging it into the middle of the zone that they can't catch it. They'll be, and it's on throw side. It's this one. Where they're trying to catch it and pull it, and it hits off the glove and goes to the backside. They whiff on catchable pitches. I want to keep strikes. Don't try to make them more striky. Griff loves that. Then I call it, don't make them more striky. So here's what I believe, and this is where it gets like out of the box kind of thinking. I don't think you should pull things from the outside to the middle. I think you should pull things to the edge. Because your rule guy, he went all over all that stuff. And those are easy things for umpires to call. They struggle with what? Ball strike, fair foul. That's hard on them because there are no rules on that. Those umpires are really good at bats. The pine tar they'll be checking that. They'll be laying them on the plate because remember, no jewelry. What? You're gone. I saw your mom. She had a friendship bracelet on. Right? They can do that, but they struggle with strikes. So instead of pulling a pitch from here to the middle, pull it to the edge. So think about having your catcher work in terms of 3 to 4 inches. We'll talk about hand squeeze in a minute. Second thing catchers do wrong, they fail to beat the ball in the spot strongly with no shoulder turn. That freshman catches, and he's always moving his shoulders. Like he'll catch it and ride it, and his shoulders turn. If I'm the umpire, I just stare at the shoulders. And if the shoulders move, ball. They'll ride stuff out of the zone, ball. If the shoulders are moving, they're probably struggling a little bit. But kickstand hand, nobody talks about that anymore. Man, that used to be the thing. Kickstand hand is when the catcher's down and he has to go away. He'll use this hand to stop him, like stop himself, he'll go, like put his hand on the ground to help balance. Now they just collapse and go to their knees and roll around. Hip turn instead of sway. Hip turn would be this, hip like sway, they would go. They move like this, instead now they're moving, they're turning. Fail to get all the spikes in the ground. Tell your catchers whenever they can catch and they can put all the spikes in the ground and catch with spikes in the ground. Like catch with them. You'll see them, they'll want to get on the inside and the spikes come out of the ground. The spikes, it's a great game because we have like stabilizers on the bottom of our feet. We're not supposed to move around. So play with as many spikes as you can in the ground. Stances, I'll go over this really quick. Single stance. Whether you use earpiece, whatever, before you give a sign, I played at Walter State on the front end of the dynasty, and we had guys that couldn't read that could throw 96 miles an hour. But let that sink in. There, okay? From East Tennessee, okay? So I would give signs, and catchers get caught up. If you film your catchers, it'll tell them. They'll look at their signs. they'll do this. They'll go. Like they'll look down and then look up. Your worst nightmare as a catcher is you're looking at your signs and you look up and the pitcher's doing this. After you finished. So you're like, time, step off. Let's go. So before you give a sign, tell your catchers, before they give a sign, make eye contact with the guy they're giving the sign to. Glove shield, use gloves, shield forearm lock. Forearm lock is this. This is Ruth and I were talking about stealing signs. I'm that guy. I can steal anybody in your signs if I stare at it long enough. Okay? So you have to do this. You have to have them find the X on their pants, that plus sign. That's where the sign goes, and the forearm has to lock in. It has to be like that. See how I'm not moving my forearm? Because some catchers, somebody in here has a catcher that does this. Watch. They'll go like this. They'll drag it out with the sign still showing. So if it's fastball and he did a 2, I'm like, okay, the last sign's not it. So now every time we get a guy on second base, we're trying to decode it without them knowing about it. Okay? So there's a couple things on there. Find the hitter's eyes. That was, I caught a slow game because I'd let the guy get in the box and I just kind of look at him. And then I'd go. Have the kids on the bench. Hey, he's cheating, he's looking, he's stealing signs. That's the signal stance. Straight back. Here are some options on signal systems. Obviously, I'm not giving you everything, but I'm giving you some good ones. Okay? Even if you use the earpiece, you still got to get it to the pitcher. So there's some good ones on there. By far, add and glove 5 and 6. Those are my 2 favorites. Add, if 6 is a fastball, you add the first number and the last number. David Ross taught me that. He said when I was with the Cubs, our pitchers were so dumb, we just did add. Okay? So we'd add the first number and the last number. So if 6 is a fastball, you'd go 4, 1, 2, 3, 2. The 4 and the 2 equals 6. It's a fastball in. Okay, that's the easiest for the catcher. I think it's easy. They love the glove. They love the glove. Maddox gave it all away. Did you see the special with Maddox where he was talking about how he caught the ball from the catcher was the next pitch? Like he'd catch balls and he'd go. Fastball, change up, slider, and nobody ever picked up on it. Nobody's ever picked up on this. Look at my glove. Look at my glove. Fastball, slider, change up. Nobody's ever, now that I've told you somebody will pick up, but nobody's ever picked up on that. National team, we use pumps a lot. 3 pumps is a fastball. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, and do your signs in bullpens. We always did signs in bullpens. Those are just a few. How important are signal switches to body movement? Signal switches and body movement. If you turn it around and you look from a base running perspective, this is a base running slide. Okay? Smart runners who are taught well can read the catcher's setup. When's the last time you called curveball in? So I teach my guys, if the catcher sets up in, don't go. If you got green light, and that catcher sets up inside, don't go. Because it's got to be a fastball 99% of the time. Okay? Every now and then maybe a change up in to get in, to hit it into the third base dugout or something like that. Catcher sets up in, it's fastball. First pitch is away, it's fastball, don't run. Catcher sets up in the middle, like in a 1-2 count, it's a breaking ball, run. Okay? Catcher taps the ground. Somebody in here, you got a catcher, he'll do that, he'll give all the signs, and then he'll go like this. He's over animated, and he'll go. Catcher taps the ground, it's a breaking ball, run. Catcher points at the plate. Like some catchers will be like, if they point the plate, they want it in the dirt, run. Okay, take a picture of that slide if you're a base running guy. Catcher shows glove high, it's fastball, don't run. Catcher moves up after signals, it's a breaking ball. Tennessee got eliminated from a regional 15 years ago. They had a kid, Jason Vieira, he was a catcher, and he caught the last 21 games every inning of every game. So he's tired of getting beat up. So every time, you've seen this, every time he'd call breaking ball, he'd go. He'd like move up 2 inches because he was trying to cut it off before it got a good hop. So when he moved up, it was breaking ball. If you see catchers and they're moving up after the sign, odds are it's breaking ball. Pitchers hate catcher movement as they start to pitch, be on time, be really soft, be really quiet, and then hit that drag thing. Okay? 70% rule. Anytime, I know you do this, hey, if you call outside fastball, I want you in the outside half the plate. 70% rule says always keep 70% of your body behind the plate. You set up too far outside, you'll never get there. Okay? If you set up too far inside, you got to keep 70% of your body behind the plate. It's not like big exaggerated movements. That's unnatural. Pitcher determines the catcher's stance. Here we go. Everybody over 45 in the room, get ready. I'm going to blow your mind here. Pitcher determines the catcher's stance. That's got to be a given. If your catcher's like, no, that's how I catch all the time. Get another catcher. He's got to be able to please the pitching staff. Okay? Once again, you see multiple stances here. And all those work. A few years back, for 2 years in a row on the 18U national team, we had a catcher who goes to the first round, 6 pick to Kansas City Royals. His name's Blake Mitchell. And Blake Mitchell's the next boss. When he gets to the big league, he'll be that kid that everybody in America will have. Number 6, Mitchell. He's an absolute boss. And he's got all the ingredients. Like he does everything well. He's loud when he needs to be loud, but he's a quiet kid. He understands the role he is playing. But Mitchell did this. See the bottom middle? He would go to right knee, but he would only do it on left-handed slider. So when you put a left-hander on the mound, he would be on left knee, and when we go to left-hand pitcher, he'd go to right knee, only slider. So he had a tell. And after we told him that, he goes, I didn't realize I was doing that. He was going to his right knee so he could slide if he had to. Okay? And like, I saw it in film, and then the next day I didn't say anything to anybody, and we were sitting behind the backstop, and he did it, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe he's doing that. Okay? All right, public service announcement. I don't think a catcher should be allowed to catch on one knee until he's mastered traditional. I don't think you should be able to catch on one knee until you're really good at doing that. And I know some of you young guys are like, well, catcher, listen. The last year I coached high school, I had 3 catchers on my varsity. One blocked better out of one knee. One could not get one knee, and he was better in a traditional stance. And the other one, he could do either one of them. And it was 3 different kids with 3 different hip mobilities, and I didn't want to mess it up. His bottom line is this, like if you guys teach hitting, and a kid, there's a runner on third, 2 outs, and a kid bends over and loses his butt and flips the barrel and hits a flop wedge over first and drives in the run, he's standing on first. You don't yell, bad swing, be better, bad swing. You don't do that. So if the catcher's blocking the ball, what do you care if nothing's ever at the backstop? 1 knee, 2 knee, 3 knee, no knee. I just don't want the ball on the backstop. You understand what I'm saying? Some kids can do it, and some kids can't. So you gotta have the flexibility to teach. This is on one knee. It's sometimes some catchers don't have hip flexibility. They're really good. It does preset the catching position. There should be forward lean out over the knees. That's a major point of emphasis. If they're just sitting on their leg back there and they're tall, their shoulders should be fighting to get out over their knee. So if I'm in one knee, and I'm like this, that's wrong. But if I'm fighting my shoulders to get out over my knee like this, that's what you want. You want that forward lean. Okay? And then it says, don't sit on their foot. If I see this one more time, this is wrong. And there's a reason for this. My boy, one of my best buddies in the world is J.R. House. He's third base coach for the Reds, and he's the catching coordinator for the Reds. J.R. and I talk about all the time. He goes, what do you got for me, Butch? I said, if I see one more 15-year-old kid sitting on his foot out of one knee, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm gonna lose my mind. They'll go to one knee and they'll just sit on their foot. Like I can't even do it. They just sit on their foot because they're comfortable. They can't be comfortable. You can't sit on the foot because you got to prepare to slide one way or the other. Okay? Concept is the one knee is allowed to catch and get a little ball work up. Okay. Don't drag the glove from the ground up. I hate that. I'm seeing that all the time. I've done this. This worked for a couple of kids. This worked for a USA kid this past summer. And he texts me film all the time and he does it. He sets up traditional, and as the pitch is coming, he'll go to one knee. Like to stabilize himself, he'll go to one knee. He'll do stuff like that. Because, I mean, okay, the baby's born. I don't care details of delivery. I just want to see the baby. You know what I'm saying? Tony Pena. I tried that when I was 16 years old. Took one right in the cods. It still hurts. That's unbelievable hip flexibility. But look at the umpire. Giving him a good look. He's giving him a real good look right there. The umpire looks his calls and you're in that position. It's a really bad umpire. No runner versus runner in still situation. No runner, catch the ball close to the plate. Like catch it out here. If nobody's on, catch the ball close to the plate. Runner in a still situation, catch it closer to your body. It's a shorter load. So we're catching with somebody on base, we're catching close to our body. Nobody on base, we're catching as close to the plate as we can. Okay? No runner, angle catch. Like, let's see. I don't want to show you. Okay? Right-handed hitter, nobody on base. I'm going to turn like this. So that umpire, he gets in the slot right there, he can see the zone. I'm trying to help him out. Okay? Runner still situation, straight up shoulders, right foot slightly open. Do this. This will really help your catchers a lot if you don't already do it. Have them turn their right foot with the runner on. They'll want to go perfect game and dip sideways. Right? I hate that. Just tell them to do this. Turn their foot out just a little bit. And it presets that first step. Okay? Shoulders, elbows frame the body. Don't let them flare, especially, and I'll show you blocking here in a couple seconds. Don't let them put their arms like that. You want no flare when they're catching. That's not it. This is not it. You want that. You want that. See how my elbow's down again? It's close. Runner in still situation, slightly more weight on the left foot. You put more weight on the left foot. That's something a lot of people don't talk about. You put more weight on the left foot so the right foot will move easy. Good catchers can turn their body. Does anybody have that catcher? I love these catchers. While the pitch is in the air and the guy runs and they'll hear, runner! They start turning before the pitch gets there, but they don't come up out of their stance. Okay? It's an elite skill. Blake could do it, but he was different. Tip of the glove, index finger down and up, relax the contact. If you'll just tell him, take your finger and point it at the pitcher's forehead, and then when he starts, relax your hand and come back to contact. Simple. Glove push, don't yank it. We got to stop that. And umpires are calling that. And then they go, hey, tell your catcher not to yank it. And you go, well then, stop calling it. And they go, you're gone. Down the up, thumb under, push the ball forward, frame it, make strikes, balls are balls. Learn how to frame stuff, and I still use frame, push stuff in the bullpen. Casey Fisk, some of you may follow Casey on Twitter. He'll send out something good every now and then. Casey Fisk is Carlton Fisk's son. So I've gotten to know Carlton, and Carlton told me this. He said, they're worried about getting a thumb under it. He said, I used to turn my glove on stuff below the knee. I turn my glove like this, and I catch the ball up here. Like I catch the ball down here, but part of my glove would be in the zone. If this bar was the knees, he said I'd catch stuff, and it'd be 6 inches below the strike zone, and they'd call it a strike. And he said, don't forget this movement right here, where the pinky's up and the thumb's down. Don't forget that. He said, because you can catch pitches here, and this part of your glove's in the zone. You're not trying to put the ball in the zone when you push, you're trying to put your glove in the zone. Umpires call the glove. They don't call fly the ball. You're telling me Jerry at your park, who's 92 years old, is seeing the fly? He can't even see the ball. They're calling the glove, okay? Glove stops on contact, be strong in contact. That's the machine thing. If you're setting them up on the machine, don't let them catch 2 pitches in a row. Move them around. And when they catch it, stop the glove. Practice that before you start pulling stuff. Like when they catch it, it's pow. It's not pow. Okay? The tunnel, that's so complicated. There's a blind spot for you guys that have never caught when right-handed hitters get in the box and you're on your glove sides, your gloves on your left hand. Catchers lose the ball there's about an 8-foot window where they've got to know where it's going, or they'll lose it. It's like an optical thing. The ball is passing in front of the hitter, and they're putting their glove where they think it goes. If you chart your pass balls, bad catchers have pass balls to this side. You'll have good catchers that'll clank and roll out because they lose it. It breaks their concentration. It's a really cool concept, and not a lot of people talk about it. All right, so basically teach this. Thumb under the pitch. You put your thumb under to stop the spin of the ball. And then you clamp down the ledge. This is the ledge of the glove. So if you film it and watch it in slow motion, it should look like this. Like thumb under, stop spin, clamp keeps the ball in the glove. I guarantee if you have pitchers throwing to your catchers and it's hitting them in the glove and bouncing away, they're not clamping down on it. They'll thumb under, but they won't clamp down. Next time you get on Twitter and you see a catcher working underneath, watch and see if he's clamping. Most of them aren't clamping down. And on contact, just squeeze your fist and it'll keep the ball in the glove. Thumb under, stop the ball, ledge clamp, stop spin. Lack of ledge clamp is why so many kids, look, can you see the ledge? The ledge? We catchers catch like this also. They'll catch with the glove like this. Like it ends up where the pocket's facing the ground. A lot of times weak catchers will catch balls like that. Good catchers will go pow, pow. Okay, manipulate the glove. A couple things on blocking. This is really good. This is Russell Martin. Russell Martin's putting that block right on his belly button. Tell your catchers, that's the target. The target is to block it with the belly button. See how his arms are framing the body and his head's going down. The glove's protecting the 5-hole, nothing through the gates of hell there. This is how you train to block. Real simple. I'm not going to tell you how to block because you guys know all that. Blocking a pitch baseball in the dirt is extremely unnatural. It's counterintuitive to what the body wants to do. Everybody here has put that freshman catcher with a good pitcher, and a kid spends half his time doing that. It's very unnatural. If you work on it, I think blocking balls is just like hitting curveballs in a cage. Everybody in here, you probably have 3 cages, indoor, you have a nice indoor, and one of them set on hard breaking ball, and you have one kid that dodges that machine. He just goes back and forth between cage 1 and 2, and he hits straight stuff. Because that is like the work of the devil over there throwing sliders. Okay? Catchers have to block. They have to block all the time. They have to, it's so unnatural to block high velocity. Okay? I'm sure PRP's got a guy that throws like 130 miles an hour. Don't worry, I've lost a PRP too. They got a guy that throws really hard. You got to work your catchers on that. And it's got to be, it can be tennis balls, but at some point you got to put pain on them, because that's part of it. Because if you don't put pain on them and it happens in a game, this is awful. This is cardinal sin of catching. Anybody a catcher in here? This is cardinal sin of catching. Cardinal sin of catching is blocking a ball and coming out going, oh my God, oh my God, oh, ow. Because now Jimmy, your best friend's on the mound, and he's like, oh, I didn't mean to hurt you. And he elevates the curveball and they hit it out and you lose. All because your catcher acted like a flower rolling around on the ground behind the plate. When they talk about catchers being tough, that's what they're talking about. You can't show pain. If it broke your arm, you're like, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, perfect pitch. Hi, baby. Come on now. You can't show that pain. You can't let the pitcher see that pain. To be good at blocking, Phil is 2-1 ratio again. 30 catches in the bullpen, 15 blocks. Good catchers catch easy. I've been catching my whole life since I was 8 years old. So when I catch, I go behind the plate and it's easy. I'm not like terrified. Just throw it. Pow. They're like, hey, you catch really well for an old man. I was like, I got turfs older than you. Throw the ball. Okay? When you block, that's you're aiming for that little square, right-handed block. We're not going to do this. Look, this is another thing I'm trying to change. We're not trying to get around every ball and block it to the plate. Okay? We're trying to get around this to block it to the right side. We're trying to get our ankle, knee, hip, and shoulder around it. But on the ball to the right, we're just trying to go sideways. So if I laid a hockey stick down, that's kind of what it would look like. So I'm going to try to get around this, and this I'm going to go like that. Because I want everything blocked right in front of the plate, right in front of my right foot. Okay? And if I block it right there, all I got to do is pick it up and throw it. But if I block it over there, I got to work on getting around it, coming around it, picking it up and throwing it. Okay? So we want all right-handed blocks. If your guys can do that. The greatest drill for that is you put a hula hoop right there and you let them block, see how many they can block the hoop. They will stun you how they can learn to control the ball. Okay? That's what I was talking about. The turn, pull the ball out the center of the chest. Every time the catcher pulls the ball out of his glove to throw somebody out, it needs to happen in the center of his chest. So it'd be bam. It's got to come out here. But you'll do this. You'll have kids that will catch it and they'll pull it out back here. Those are the ones that lose it. Okay? Put hands and feet. You can't throw the ball until the left foot is done. That's why that left foot, that's why when they laid out baseball, they knew what they were doing. The plate's shaped like a house. So the catcher can step right inside that little cutout and not slip. If your catcher's stepping on the plate, he's doing it wrong. This step needs to be short and quick. Okay, so I got this foot turned out and it's bam, bam. So I'm going to take short steps. If your catcher gets long with this foot and then muscles, he's not going to have the time, the throw time. So, how do we improve catchers throwing? We speed up their feet. Next time you work with your catchers, put them in a situation, give them a ball, and just keep going. Speed your feet up. Quick, speed your feet up. And watch what happens. Their body will align itself, and their throws will pick up. Somebody in here has a really good catcher that can't throw. Those are jet throws. He does this. He turns his right foot out. This was me. Until I grew into my arm, this is how I did it. I would catch it and throw it. Your guys will all want to go, you don't want to do that. I would just catch it and throw it. If there's a fast guy on first and your guy's average arm, go, hey, jet throw, jet. And all they do is, because it's turned out, all they do is catch it, separate it, and throw it. It's that simple. Okay? Oh, here's something, again, a lot of people don't talk about. This is one of my big things. Internationally, it's not really a running game because your catcher can stop all that in pregame. Okay, Blake Mitchell legit throwing 182s on the money. He's 97 off the mound. Okay? Bang! You look at their hand. You see their hand? See it? It's got 3 fingers on the ball. And during transition, film your catchers from behind and see if they do this. In transition, he'd reach in with 3 fingers. And when he'd pull it out, he'd slide 1 finger off and he'd lose it. Do any of you have a catcher that goes to throw and they lose them all that way? It's because they're 3 fingers and in transition, they're trying to slide one. You've got to teach your catchers to go into the glove with 2 fingers and pull it out with 2 fingers. Okay? I just fixed somebody's catcher, and I need my check right now. 2-finger pull versus 3-finger pull. That's a great pull he's got right there. Tags at the plate. That's Sosha. God love him. His brain's oatmeal because he just got trucked all the time. That's why I wanted to be a catcher, because there was contact involved. Watch this. This is the rule in 2011. This is the Buster Posey rule. Fractured fibula, 3 torn ligaments in the ankle. This rule changed catching. Buster Posey is an offensive superstar. And Cuz trucks him. He's not even blocking the plate. Watch, it'll replay it. He's giving Cuz the plate. And Cuz just trucks him. Look at the score. It's 7-6. It was a tie game, now it's 7-6. Okay, so the rule used to be runner gets half the play, catcher gets half the play. Now the rule is the runner gets all the play, go stand up by first base, right? So you got to show them the whole plate. So you need to now practice more than ever, showing them the whole plate and bringing the glove back to the plate. Don't tag the runner, take the glove to the plate, because they're coming there. You just got to beat them with the glove to the plate. Don't go try to tag the runner, because you've all had this happen and you've argued, and it's amazing you get ejected. Your catcher took it to the runner and tagged him like in the thigh. And the guy's foot was on the plate. Just have them take their glove to the plate. A couple drills finish up. Big on machine catch. Multiple stances, multiple pitches. You got to make them move around. Don't let them sit back there and catch off the machine. It's like bam. Bam, you're moving them around. Tennis striker drills are great. If you can hit a tennis ball, you can hit pop-ups, blocks, you can do pitches, you can do all kinds of stuff. Angle catch off the machine. Angle catch is this. They start out like this, the ball comes, they have to catch it in front of their left knee and the glove can't move. It's like, bam! And then they go behind the plate, they catch one, and then they go to this side. And on this side, they can't go in front of this knee. If the machine was over there, it's pow! And they catch it, they can't go past that knee, I'm sorry. Stacked and staggered, this is really, I thought this was dumb, and then my guy started doing it, and I was like, yeah, that's cool. You have one kid blocking off the machine, and you have one one on that side, one on that side, and they're doing whatever he does. Like, they'll block also. So it's like visionary block there. Knee exchanges are good. If I'm going to the plate, do this. This is my favorite thing as a coach to do, because I was screwing around. One of my team was probably. I take a bucket of balls and a manager, and I just walk around the edge of the infield, and I just fungo balls to the plate. Pow! One hop, line drive, whatever, and they had to work on tags, and then I just kept like moving around. I went all the way around the infield so they can see different angles. Last thing, most important guy on your team's backup catcher. You've got to have two catchers. Think about it, it's the only position you need two of. And you're like, no, you got three outfielders. If you just went, no, you got three outfielders, you don't know anything about baseball. Because left field and right field are like two different planets. Center field is different from both of them. Slice and spin. So those are all different positions. If you don't have two catchers, you're really putting your team in danger. Because somebody in here, you got one really good catcher, and if he goes down, it's not going to end well for your team. So you got to have good backup catcher. You got to let that guy, you got to show him some love. I appreciate it. You guys are amazing because you stuck around. You didn't have to, and I appreciate it. We are the guardians of the game. My friends and I, we say this all the time. I want you to give your worst player the same amount of love you give your best player. See, pick one out, make it a project, develop that kid, and see if you can make him better. Because your best player is going to be your best player, and he's going to come back and go, hey, coach, that Friday night football game, but your worst player, if you make him better, that guy will ask you to be in his wedding. He'll love you forever. He'll hide the body for you. Okay? Appreciate it. Thanks for listening.